All right, everyone, when a group that was implicated is actually talking to the DNC during the election, is telling the Democratic Party, hey, guys, you might want to tone it down, I think you're making a mistake here. The DNC and even the just the partisan voter base of the Democrats, you really need to listen to them. You've got ABC News now saying, all these fantasies about Trump being just vile and despicable and being so stupid he gets himself kicked out of office or something, they're not helpful. You need to work on making a platform and driving the party forward. Isn't it very funny how when I say stuff like that, months and months later, finally, people in the legacy media, they actually, they realize the same thing? But it's so fucking belated, but the thing is, it's so common sense. It's common sense. Trump ran a campaign where he created one overarching broad platform, stuck to a few relatively simplistic big picture goals, and promulgated and went forward and managed to win. The Democrats haven't caught on that that's exactly how you should run a campaign in the social media era. They're still relying on TV and radio covering for them. TV and radio and, hey, we happen not to be Donald Trump, he's a bigot. When people get their tax bills come April and they realize how much money they've saved, especially those in the working class, you are going to see a significant swing of the voting public towards Donald Trump and the Republicans. If the Democrats, by that time, do not have at least a leader or a sane, vague platform worked out, or even just a midterm campaign slogan that isn't stupid, if they don't have any of these things, they are going to get their asses handed to them. Now, there's some rumblings within the party. You can see some people jostling for 2020, like Gillibrand is obviously jostling around for 2020. Kamala Harris kind of wants to run. Oprah won't, I don't think, run. It comes out and phrases it. A few days later, she's like, I'm not saying that I'm going to run, but, it's just, you'd think about it. I won't rule it out. That's a total cop-out. It's basically, hey, buy some more of my Oprah products. Let me get on the news another time. It's almost a Trump strategy. Maybe she worked it out with him. Maybe he gave her advice. I mean, they've been friends. They were friends for a long time. They're not enemies. It's not like a Rosie O'Donnell situation. The fact that Oprah disagrees with him on a lot of political tokens doesn't mean that they hate each other. I don't even think Trump hates Rosie O'Donnell. They have a lot in common when it comes to they act like a blowhard, they say something out there and they get a lot of attention and it promulgates their brand. It's like wrestling. It's exactly how he runs things with his businesses. It's exactly how Trump works. It's how Rosie O'Donnell works. It's how any smart person who is building their own brand works. Of course they're going to say some out there shit. Or they're going to do something out there, they need something unique about them. They need something unique for other people to say, hey, that's a little bit different, that's kind of interesting. It's not so much about the message maybe, it's honestly about the style of the messenger. It's how it's delivered. What you say matters almost less than how it's presented sometimes. The legacy media, ABC News of all places, is saying, hey, Democrats, tone it down. There are other things you could be doing right now, trying to actually implement a policy. Work with Trump, negotiate with him, get something of what you want. The Democrats so far in the last year have gotten zilch. They've gotten 0% of anything that they've wanted. They can't stop a Supreme Court nominee from getting through. They can't impeach Trump. They can't kick anybody out. They can't do anything. He's running roughshod over them. They still act like he's weak. Look, if this is their idea of a weak Trump, then just imagine if they get pounded in the midterms, lose even more power, look even weaker, and he says, okay, now I don't even need to negotiate anymore. I can literally implement any fucking policy that I want so long as I can get most of the Republicans on board. I don't need to talk to the Democrats. The funny thing is, though, there will be times at which he'd probably rather work with the Democrats. He's his business Democrat. He's just become a Republican partisan because it happened to be a feasible for him. I mean, think of it this way. Trump, over the year before the campaign, I think he knew Hillary Clinton was going to run, so he thought about it this way. He said, what Republicans might I have to fight off? Let's see. Mitt Romney might run. Well, that's easy. He's an old rich dude, but he's boring, so I have the advantage there. John McCain, he's too old and messed up, and he already failed once, so I can just call him a loser. I've never actually physically run before. Michelle Bachmann, well, I'd probably just absorb her into my campaign. Chris Christie, nobody's going to take him seriously. He looked at the Republican field and he saw a lot of weakness. Then he looked at the Democrats and he said, fundamentally, knowing how Clinton operates, because Trump's rubbed elbows with the Clintons for years, he knows how dirty they are. He knows that they're going to shill their way into the nomination. Like Hillary Clinton was actually going to suffer from having a viable opponent in the first place. There were none. There were no... Obama can't run. He'd be the only other person who could have stopped her. Bernie Sanders, high approval, but he's old and he's a socialist. I'm sorry, that doesn't carry you the Rust Belt vote. Not going to happen, never was going to happen. By the way, people who still want Sanders to run, you're fooling yourself. He's not going to run again for the presidency. He probably did it as a gimmick. Probably some people within the DNC turned to him and said, nobody else wants to run against Clinton, because they know that it's going to be terrible times for them if they actually launch a serious campaign. Look viable, you're going to have a lot of voters anyway, because, you know, you're sort of the youth-friendly person for the Democratic Party. You run, nobody else wants to, they don't want it to turn into a shit show. You know, another thing, I'll tell you this, people like Gillibrand probably would have wanted to run in 2016. Some of them arguably could have even won, but they didn't want to run against Hillary, because they knew that they would lose, and losing in the nomination is sort of the death knell of ever becoming the President of the United States. Look at poor Romney. He lost the nomination, then he becomes the nominee the next time around, bumbles around, he loses. It's just sort of the way that things happen. It's Hillary Clinton, another good example. She wanted to be the nominee in 2008, and she didn't get it. Obama gets it. And then she totally screws up and fails. I mean, I've noticed a little bit of a pattern there, I think. I think that happens more often than not. Unless you want to become like Ross Perot and just run over and over and over again. Yeah, you basically, in order to get people to try to hush you up by throwing you free money, you threaten to run for the presidency. That's true power. More power to him, by the way. He would have made a damn good president, I think. But telling the Democrats, please shut up, please form a platform. You know, some of these groups honestly were saying that to begin with. Like, even Salon started rambling about, you know, Hillary Clinton, okay, we get it, you were robbed, Trump is a bigot, Trump is evil, okay, yada, yada, yada. But please, please stop talking about it because it's unhelpful. Likewise, the Democratic Party, when it just talks about Trump is this, Trump is that, and we're not Trump, so you should vote for us, it's not a platform. It's not going to work. You're not but basically what you're saying is, hey, we're not the guys giving you more of your own money. We're not the guys interested in securing the border. You've lost those two issues. Do you even understand that? If the Republicans were to come out tomorrow and say, okay, in the next election, we're gonna fight gay marriage and try to rescind the decision from the Supreme Court, or we're gonna try to overturn Roe v. Wade, it would be dumb. They've lost those issues. They don't have popular support on them. Likewise, the Democrats have already chosen to make that mistake. They've lost on taxes and they've lost on immigration. They just don't fully realize it yet. They think that the very vocal echo chamber of San Francisco that happens to have a loud voice crying and whining about how bad it is to have an immigration policy, they think that represents the average American. That's what lost you the Rust Belt, guys. That and constantly haranguing about social justice warrior bullcrap, like how magically someone like me has like special privilege, so, you know, we're responsible for your problems. We're responsible for Hillary Clinton losing because, you know, of reasons. Well, yeah, in a way, because, you know, most sane people voted against her. You didn't even have to vote for Trump. A lot of people were voting against Hillary Clinton more than anything else. And that shows he had a lot of soft support, which, by the way, has totally abandoned him at this point. But come tax time, a lot of that's going to come back. And you're not going to like the outlook of the midterm map after that happens. But the Democrats right now, I can only wait to see it, you know, since Trump has thrown people, you know, thousands of dollars of their own money back into their own pockets come tax time, when they see that tax bill. The Democrats are going to cry foul, oh, the deficit, oh, you know, we can't cut spending, we have to put taxes back up, this is irresponsible and reckless. And Trump's going to sit there and laugh at you. He's going to laugh so hard, that's not a good selling point, it's not going to work. If someone's already a Democratic partisan, yeah, they'll probably accept that argument. But, you know, you're not fighting for them. You're fighting for the centrists. You're fighting for middle America right now. Republican advantage anyway because of the way Obama treated them. He was like, oh, these people that cling to their guns and Bibles, fuck them, basically. Oh, fuck the coal mine. Fuck this blue-collar worker. You know, you have privilege, so, you know, you need to pay up more. I'm going to raise your taxes. That's how callous the Democrats handled the situation throughout the 2000s and into the 2010s. It's how they treated middle America in the wake of the recession, post-Bush era. And it didn't work very well. See, the recovery was coastal. The recovery was big cities. Well, the Democrats already control those areas largely. That's why things look a little bit more rosy for the Democrats in a place like Virginia, which has like military spending. Okay, that'll prop up the economy, not as much of a problem, as opposed to some place like, oh, I don't know, Ohio or Michigan or Pennsylvania. You know, those really, really important states that you used to consider, number one, to be bellwethers of future political trends, and number two, that you said were absolutely indispensable. You can't possibly lose them or you lose the election. Well, then get cracking. And actually form a sane platform and stop telling people like to their face, yeah, we're going to raise your taxes back up if we get into charge. Wonderful, wonderful. Their slogan should be, we are stupid, but we say Trump is evil. We're just dumb. That should be the slogan of the DNC come the midterm elections. If they continue on this same tack, you've got a few months left to form a platform before the tax plan kicks in and people see how well they're doing compared to before. And all of middle America, you know, a few million people can easily swing an election. Those people will climb back aboard, and they'll be hard in support. Somebody who says, well, you know, because of that money, I was able to start my own small business, or, you know, I just paid off my student loans, I feel great. Oh, it's going to be optimistic times for a lot of people. They're going to be feeling a lot better about the Trump admin than you would like them to feel. But, you know, even ABC News is basically telling you that, but a lot of these people are dumb. They want to stand on emotion or moral subjective principle and say, well, Trump is bad, Trump is wrong, therefore his policies are bad and wrong. See how that works for you. See what happens in the midterms. That's about all. Peace out.